Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got some deals and steals for you. Why are these Commander staples just $2? Well, you should be picking them up right now. As always, the link to list of the cards are in the description below. Pick some up right now before they jump in price. Let's jump into them. First up, one of the most fun cards to resolve and activate. Planar Bridge is so good, and right now, it is less than $2 at $1.96. A Ledger artifact for 6 mana in total. Pay 8, tap, search your life for a permanent card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library again. Not just like, hey, oh yeah, go get a creature, which is already amazing. No, this is like, hey, whatever permanent you want. Have fun. See, in a big mana deck, in an artifact deck even, you can say, you know what? Let's utilize this incredible artifact. Let's activate it, and let's just see where the chips lie. That's definitely a phrase, right? But being able to essentially go, okay, yeah, let me go get the best thing for the situation that I'm in right now, place it directly into play. Or, yeah, sure, just go get, like, Omniscience and just win from there. Such a fun card. If you've never activated it, you are missing out. Make sure you check this one out. Next up, just under $2, $1.99, Radiant Lotus, an artifact for 6 mana, a newer artifact compared to Planar Bridge, which I guess isn't all that old, but still. This one came out this year, and this one has already had a massive impact, and my goodness, can have an impact on your games as well. Tap, sacrifice one or more artifacts, choose a color. Target player adds 3 mana of the chosen color for each artifact sacrificed this way. This is just a giant ball of mana in the waiting, and also can be one that can do that again, and again, and again, and again, because this one does not require you to sacrifice itself. That being said, you definitely can. And yeah, if you're just playing like one of the most popular types of decks out there right now, either artifacts or treasures, my goodness, just think about turning all your treasures into 3 mana apiece. And then you'll do that every single time you want to do that, essentially. Yeah, this big burst of mana can very easily win you the game. I mean, just think about, again, how many times you're playing a deck. You're like, yeah, I've got like 7 Thopters or Servos or whatnot with my artifact deck or my Go Wide token deck. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. If I have this, I could tab sacrifice that, yeah, and be 21 mana, or 24 mana if I need to sacrifice this too. You're going to be able to win the game with a big burst of mana like that. Have fun with this gem. Next up, a card that some people think might be for like only mono green decks. Yes, it definitely thrives in mono green decks, but doesn't have to be that way. Staff of Titania is so good. An equipment for 2 mana. Group creature gets +X for X the number of forests you control. And you might say, look, I don't have any forests. How's that going to help me? Well, here you go. You can make forests. Whenever group creature attacks, create a 1/1 green forest dryad land creature token. And it's got equip 3. Again, this is a way to not only go wide, but also to go big in mana. You are basically kind of, being able to just ramp and go wide at the same time while being able to say, hey, opponents, oh, don't worry about those little forest dryad creatures. They're fine. They're fine. Oh, by the way, next turn, more mana. By the way, next turn for that, more mana. I'm just ramping every single time with this while also pumping my creature by making more forest, while also going wide with an army that I'm going to pump in other ways. This card is so much fun and such a good card in so many strategies. Next up, another gem, less than $2 right now. White of the Reliquary, a 2/2 zombie knight with vigilance for 2 mana in Golgari, and if that was it, it would be, well, I mean, not garbage, I guess, but not very good. But here you go. You got a lot of extra things that are going on here, because it's going to get ++1 for each creature card in your graveyard, number 1. That's already a massive benefit, again, for certain strategies out there, like a self-mill strategy, a sacrifice strategy, and a Rishkar style strategy. This thing can be absolutely massive, and again, vigilant for just 2 mana. Being able to just swing and keep back for blocking, that's great. Oh, but by the way, tap, sacrifice another creature, search life for a land card. Let me repeat that, a land card, not basic. Put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Being able to go, okay, you know what, sorry, little servo, you know what, I just sacrificed you to that, giant, Lotus thingy or whatever, the Radiant Lotus, and now I'm also sacrificing you to white, because I'm turning you into Gaia's Cradle, or whatever other lane you want, Dark Depths, whatever other lane, or just Command Tower, alright? You know what, being able to just fix your mana effectively can be great. This can be great for a landfall synergy kind of deck. If you've got a lot of those landfall triggers, that make creatures, and you've got a lot of creature token production with that. It can also obviously be great for any kind of a sacrifice strategy, aristocrat style strategy, self-mill strategy. Again, it can be a heavy hitter that also can tutor out lands. If you've got any kind of a deck that is built around specific lands, again, Dark Depths combo, Fun Times Merit Lage, yes, absolutely. Or just, hey, by the way, I spent $500 on a Guy's Cradle, I'd like to see it every now and then. Good for you. But yeah, being able to just tutor out any land directly onto the battlefield, you are ramping and you are fixing and you are potentially just demolishing the game by getting certain lands out. So have fun with this one. Moving on, a card that is insane in tribal decks and, well, changeling decks in general. Realm Walker, a 2/3 shapeshifter for 3 mana in green. It's got changeling, so again, it's every single creature type. Yay! Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Okay. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Awesome. By the way, you may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of your library. Amazing. Again, when it comes to tribal strategies out there, typically, they have, well, an absurd amount of that creature type in the deck. I'm talking about 30-plus cards in general. So, yes, a good amount of the time, you can go, oh, the top of my library, okay, cool. Well, just being able to see the top of your library, number one, is already a massive advantage. Being able to plan ahead and see, okay, what am I going to be getting in the future? Or if you've got certain things like, okay, I've got scry, I've got draw spells, I've got ways to mill myself, maybe. I've got ways to get things off the top of my library. Cool. That's a great way to say, you know what, let's get down to the things I actually want. But of course, if you've got, oh, okay, I'm playing elves, let's just say. All right, oh, there's an elf on top? Cool. All right, I'll play that. Oh, another elf's on top. I'll play that. It's kind of like a second hand in a way now your library is, just being able to play off the top of your library and get down into more and more and more cards that you otherwise wouldn't have had access to. Again, this can work in any tribal strategy that has a good amount of creatures in it, again, of that specific tribe. Make sure you check this one out. Or again, Changeling Tribal. Have fun with that too. Mesa Enchantress would be so proud to see these days just how far Enchantresses have come. Cetessan Champion. Maybe Mesa Enchantress is already amazing, but this one's like, hey, you know what? Different level. 1/3 Human Warrior for 3 mana in green. Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you get a counter on Cetessan Champion, you draw a card. Being able to go, hey, you know what? Enchantments are entering here, there, and anywhere. It doesn't even matter. Again, other Enchantresses, the original ones, are like, hey, when you cast an enchantment, all right, draw that card. This one's like, no. Enters the battlefield, which means that, hey, if you are blinking enchantments, which definitely some decks do, if you are making, enchantment tokens, which, there's definitely some ways to do that, the rolls. If you are, say, maybe mass reanimating enchantments as well, there's plenty of ways to do that too. You are taking advantage of those ETBs, and you are drawing an absurd amount of cards. By the way, also, again, like I mentioned earlier, Mesa Enchantress is like, yeah, I'm not really much of a combat doer. And then this one's like, hey, you know what? By the way, I'm the beefiest creature on the board that is also drawing an absurd amount of cards for just 3 mana. Yeah, if you're playing any kind of an Enchantress deck or decks that make enchantments, yeah, you should be checking this one out. Or especially, again, mass reanimation like Narcy builds. Make sure you check out mine on that. But yeah, a great card to add into that deck as well. This is where things get interesting, though, because Wayward Sword is less than $2 right now. A 5/5 dinosaur for just 3 mana, and it has Ascend. So again, if you got 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. Here's the thing about Commander and Ascend. It's just a little secret that no one knows. It's super easy to get Ascend in Commander. Probably unless you're playing CDH. I don't know. I don't play CDH. But basically, yeah, the games aren't very quick, typically. And yeah, you're going to be getting there very quickly, especially since, well, this one says, hey, you can wait to land on each of your turns. By the way, can't attack or block unless you got the City's Blessing. That's, not that big of a downside, to be honest. Like, if this was just like a 1/1 creature for 3 mana that said, hey, you get additional land each of your turns, it would still be good. But it is not. It is one that basically says, hey, you know what? At some point, you get to unlock me, and then I'm actually a threat, which is quite nice for just 3 mana. Being able to ramp super quickly, super early with this is great. Any kind of a landfall type strategy is going to want this. Any kind of a dinosaur deck is going to kind of want this. Any kind of a, again, lands matter, like going big on mana type strategy can want this as well. And of course, just like stompy decks can want this too. Like, oh yeah, 3 mana for a 5/5. Yeah, thank you. And also probably having some ways, maybe one we'll talk about here in a little bit, not to spoil it, but to mass, pump your creatures in a giant way. Yeah, this can be a threat. It can be a great way to ramp. It can be a great way to use and abuse, the landfall triggers as well. It is so much fun. And, yeah, don't worry about the City's Blessing. You're going to get there. And even if you don't want this in play, who cares? You just played 2 lands anyways or whatnot, and you're great. Here comes a spicy one, though. I love this art. I just want to say that really. I absolutely love this art. And it always surprises me sometimes with the versions of cards that are the cheapest or, like, much cheaper than other versions of it. And it's like, this art's amazing. Like, well, what's not to love about this art? Like, it's fantastic. Leyline of Anticipation, enchantment for 4 mana in blue. If it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with on the battlefield. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Here's the thing. Vidulan Ori, I mean, that is a card that can fit in any deck, right? And it is a card that sees a lot of play for a reason. That being said, this one is even better because, number one, in, like, the pecking order of hardiness of permanent types, I would say that enchantments are probably the hardiest thing out there when it comes to them getting destroyed by things. They're usually sticking on the table the longest, in my experience. Yeah, that being said, you can play this for free. If you just happen to have an opening hand, you get into play for free. Free is amazing, and then for the rest of the game, as long as it's in play, you're playing whenever you want. Again, you're playing on your opponent's turns. You're going that, I'm not going to say annoying, but you get jealous as another player when someone's got something like this in play where it's like, draw, go. Like, it's like, I draw my card, go ahead, because I can play whenever I want, and I don't have to abide by the laws of this game. And you must talk like that for some reason. But yeah, being able to essentially just say, you know what, I'm going to play at the most opportune situations. I'm going to play at the most opportune times. Most of the time just being I'm saving up all my mana, and then all of a sudden, right before my turn, spending it all on all the things I want to spend it on. Much harder to stop them, because if your opponents want to stop you, they've got to go, okay, I only have 1 counter spell. Is it worth countering this thing they're casting right now, or the thing they might be casting on their next turn? Because they might just be baiting me to be doing that. Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to play around things. It makes it a lot easier to set yourself up for things. Again, an opponent might think that you're just basically not a very big threat, and then all of a sudden, before your turn starts, you just cast this massive army out of nowhere, and then your opponent's like, we're in trouble, everyone. Oh, no. Yeah, it's a great card. Speaking of great cards, though, Teferi's Ageless Insight. Such a good card. Basically, no offense, Thought Reflection, but a better Thought Reflection. Okay, Thought Reflection is technically better when it's in play, but this one is 3 mana less. And it's also legendary, which can be a benefit in certain decks, too. Legendary enchantment for 4 mana in blue. You would draw a card, except the first one you draw on each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. Basically, yeah, you don't get to double up your regular draw on the turn, but anything else goes. You are doubling up every single one of your cards that you're drawing for just 4 mana. That is insane. Again, literally any draw spell just gets twice as efficient. I mean, just think about this plus, like, I don't know. I mean, any draw spell, essentially. When it comes to, like, Pull from Tomorrow, I guess comes to mind. Like, it's already a hyper-efficient draw spell for X. You're like, okay, cool, yeah, draw X. And discard 1, you're like, by the way, draw X times 2 now, essentially. Or how about, Brainstorm. Cards like that where it's like, okay, like, technically, like, a smaller amount of card advantage than it shows. Like, draw 3, put 2 from your hand on top. You're still only putting 2 from your hand on top, but you're drawing 6 now. So you're actually getting a massive amount of card advantage from that. Any kind of a wheel effect is insane now, too, where it's like, yeah, okay, windfall. All right, everyone goes up to, oh my gosh, I got up to 14. Yeah, you can do some absolutely insane things with this one. It is so good. And of course, I did mention that, like, yeah, a legendary tribal deck can utilize this too, where it's like, all right, it's legendary. You can benefit from that too. And with like a Sisay deck, you can like tutor it out. It's going to be quite fun. And when it comes to tutoring out, oh my gosh, Sanguine Bond! Again, a really cool art version of the card. This one is, yeah, insane. It combos with so many things these days. I mean, it combos with, Exquisite Blood. And that one Exquisite Blood vampire flying thing. Anyways. Yeah, enchantment for 5 mana in black. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Even if you aren't comboing with it, it's still just a very, very potent card in any kind of a life gain strategy. You just play Gary and you probably take out an opponent. You're like, sorry, yeah, you're just the one I chose, so you're gone. Being able to mass gain life, there are plenty of ways to do that. And by doing that, you're like, okay, cool. You lose because I gained life. If you've got any kind of a life doubling effect, that's also kind of like a combo with this as well. You're like, okay, cool, yeah, Revival Revenge, you know, that card, you cast Revenge, you're like, all right, I gain twice as much my life total, and my opponent's, or I mean, I double my life, essentially, and my opponent loses half their life, they're definitely gone. Or you could just, like, say, like, okay, you go down from 40 to 20, I went from 40 to 80, and that other player who's at 40 is just gone now. So I'm literally at 4 times the life of someone else, and I took someone else out. Yeah, this card is good for a reason. Again, it's combo-y for a reason. Pick it up now. Here comes a super spicy one, though. And Wizards, I urge you to please, 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 please keep reprinting this card. Reprint it more. It needs more reprints. It's uncommon. Just throw it into a set. Who cares? It's not going to break the set. Like, I mean, unless you do a lot of enchantment things in that set as well, and then maybe it's going to be pretty obnoxious, but still. Turbo Fog for the win. Sphere of Safety. Enchantment for 5 mana and white. Creatures you control. Well, not creatures you control, because your creatures are fine. Creatures can attack you or planeswalkers you control. There we go. Unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures or X the number of enchantments you control. There we go. Being able to say, hey, you know what? I just put this in play. And, yeah, you got to pay an absurd amount. An amount that you could never pay to actually get through and attack me. Being able to just put this in play and say, oh, how many enchantments do I have in play? Oh, 6? Yeah, you're not attacking me ever. You have to pay 6 mana to attack me with any creature. It does not matter what you do. Again, Ghostly Prison is an amazing card. Propaganda, same thing basically, right? Those are incredible cards. Those are really good at deterring attacks. And they are lower the ground, sure. This one, though, has a higher threshold. This one has a higher ceiling. This has an impossibility of your opponents ever attacking you once you get to a certain state. If you're an Enchantress type strategy, you've got a lot of enchantments in play, and you play this, you're like, all right, by the way, I'm never being attacked until this thing is dealt with, because you can't pay 10 mana per creature to attack me. It is such a good card. Pick it up now. And Wizards, reprint it again, but until then, pick it up while it's still cheap. Now let's switch strategies to one that I mentioned earlier in a way, a little bit of foreshadowing. Unnatural Growth, an enchantment for 5 mana in green. At beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Now here's the thing. Yes, this does have 4 green pips in there. It is a pretty specific mana value. That being said, yeah, if you're in a 1-color deck, obviously you're in green, you can handle that. If you're in a 2-color deck, you can still handle that. Again, you're in green, you got plenty of ways to fix your mana and to ramp. You're in a 3-color deck, that's where you gotta kind of look at your deck and say, can I get there? Can I do it? Absolutely. If you're in a 4-color deck, you're probably crazy. If you're in a 5-color deck, you better be in Joda. Anyways, there are ways to obviously fix your mana, or if you're in like a treasure strategy, you've got ways to fix your mana in that way too. That being said, I think some players hesitate a little bit with the mana value when they probably could make it work. It is an amazing card. This card is basically, okay, how big's your team? They're double that all the times that it matters. Again, at the beginning of each combat, not just your own, and its power and toughness. Even if it was just power, this would still see a ton of play. But yeah, every single combat, not just your own, your creatures are twice as large as they otherwise would be. This can lead to you just demolishing opponents with your massive army. This can lead to them never being able to attack into you because your army just got much bigger than theirs did. It can lead into 2-shot KOs with your commander, 1-shot KOs with your commander. It is such a good, amazing, fun card. Pick it up now. Speaking of fun, though, hey, do you've got a big commander, one that is quite large, one that maybe you could get even bigger with, you know, Unnatural Growth? Cool. Hey, Rishkar's Expertise is so much fun to cast. A sorcery for 6 mana, yeah, it's a decent amount for a sorcery, but hey, you're going to draw cards, you get the greatest power among creatures you control, yeah, it's a lot. And you may cast a card converting mana cost 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Basically, you get that extra mana that you just paid, and you say, hey, you know what, I just paid 1 mana to cast this spell to draw cards equal to greatest power among creatures, and the other 5 mana, you can just pretend that you use that to cast the other thing, which is insane. And of course, you're going to have a lot of options to cast from, because you're going to be like, okay, cool, I draw a ton of cards. If you've got a commander that's got a good amount of power, or can grow a good amount through the game, or you've got a counters-based strategy where you're just growing all your creatures, or you got a stompy strategy, a big creature strategy, any kind of a strategy that you can be like, yeah, I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to have a 5+ power creature on the board. I mean, very easily, sometimes you're like, yeah, I've got a 10 power creature on the board. I'm drawing 10 cards for 6 mana and casting something else for free. Yeah, this card is so much insane value. And do keep in mind, in just a really weird way, just off the side, you know, here to just mention, Yeah, you can do some really weird things with this one, where, again, you can cast a card with convert mana cost 5 or less from your hand, like, Hypergenesis, technically. Again, doesn't have a mana value, but it's kind of 0 in that situation, so have fun. Regardless, it is a card that says, hey, you know what? Big creature equals big moves. You probably win the game on the cast. And when it comes to winning the game with a cast, Fevered Suspicion, my goodness. Again, if you've never had the pleasure of casting this card, it is so much fun. This, just to spoil things a little bit, if you've never seen my Joda deck, not the Unifier, the original Joda the Archmage Eternal, it is a lot of fun. It is a Villainous Wealth deck, basically, where you're just trying to ramp the entire time, and then you are casting a Villainous Wealth for a lot, but you're also trying to copy it an absurd amount of times. Now, Fevered Suspicion is not Villainous Wealth, in my opinion, but it is a great backup plan for that deck, and sometimes it performs better than Villainous Wealth does, too. A sorcery for 8 mana in Rakdos. Each opponent exiles cards to the top of their library to the exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from one of those non-land cards without paying their mana cost, and it rebounds, so you get to cast again for free beginning of the next upkeep, basically. So this one is just an absolute blast. Again, you basically cast this for 8 mana, and you get to cast, essentially, 6 spells for free. 3 on one turn, 3 on another, but still, 6 spells for free. If you can just cast 6 spells for free, you can very easily hit things that are just, oh, I win the game type cards. You're just like, oh yeah, this and that and this and that and this and that. Okay, cool, I've got an absurd board state now. Let me win. So again, a big mana strategy, one that helps you cheat on mana like a Joda, and you're like, yeah, I play that for 5 and cast 6 spells for free, and by the way, I copied it 5 times as well, so I have, 30 spells for free. It's absolutely absurd. It's absolutely a blast. Okay, not 30 for spells for free in that situation, but still. It is so much fun, and yeah, if you've got like a Impulse Draw type deck where you get like value from casting from Exile too, you can definitely benefit from that too. It is so much fun. Check it out. Finally, though, I gotta bring up one from my childhood. I love Crusher Worms. I mean, it's so old when they've got like that little gravestone in the top left, and it's like, this is an old card. That's what that means. No, just kidding. That means, like, flashback, like graveyard relevance, I guess, is what they're going for with that. But, anyways, sorcery for 9 mana in green with some really sick art. I absolutely love this art. I think this was from Judgment, I believe. Is that correct? Anyways, put 3 6/6 green worm creature tokens into play. Super simple, super effective. Back when green actually had the identity of being simple. Like, all right, what does green do? Big creatures. That's it. Big creatures. Great. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what green did. Like, mana and creatures. And, that was it. And nowadays, it's like, mana, creatures, draw all the things. Counter. Counter spells. I mean, it's what I meant, but they don't really have that, but kind of. Anyways, flash it back, though, for 12 mana. So, again, super simple, super straightforward. You get 18 power across 3 bodies for 9 mana. And if you want to do it again, you got to pay 12. But still, again, you're getting 18 power across 3 bodies. This is just an army in a bottle. This is just, okay, you didn't have the most dominant board state. You didn't have the most dominant creatures. All of a sudden, you do. By the way, are you in a populated strategy? Cool, have fun with that. Or other ways to take advantage of whatever kind of tokens you have in play, whatever kind of power you have in play. It is a really fun card. I wish Wizards would reprint it, I think that would be great. But still, they really have not. And it is a card that, in my opinion, is worth it for those decks that are big mana decks that are like, hey, you know what? Let's go crazy. Let's do some big things. Again, you're in green. You can get to that 9 mana. Don't be afraid of that. Go do it. Crush your worms. Crush your opponents with worms. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.